What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Now, I want to give you a quick update on what's happening with Jasmy because it does seem like it could be preparing for something rather big. And of course, I always want to keep you guys as up to date as possible. And so, with that said, let's not waste any more time at all and let's get straight into the video. Now, what I've been paying attention to with Jasmy recently has been the structure that we've been seeing it form since the end of June. Since June 30th, we have been putting in what many people do consider to be, myself included, as an ascending wedge. Now, the issue with these ascending wedges is that they do have a pretty strong possibility and likelihood of breaking to the downside. It's just the case, right? Uptrends will almost typically break uptrend into creating a more macro uptrend. That's just normally how this thing goes. And of course, seeing that we were in a downtrend that has now been followed by this ascending wedge, it does feel as if Jasmy could possibly be starting to prepare for a move towards the downside. Now, there is no guarantee. At the end of the day, we are in what I consider to be a bull market. There are a lot of catalysts. There's a lot of things happening. And this may not come to fruition, but I did at least want to make this video for you real quick to prepare you for the possibility that we could see this happen and how you can identify it if it does happen. Now, if Jasmy's price is going to start to make some moves to the downside, to the degree in which it's actually going to put in more of a macro low, right? Maybe somewhere around 2.5 cents. What you need to be watching out for is the interaction that it has on this ascending level of support. As you can see here, we had ascension number 1, ascension support number 2, and we had ascension resistance 1, 2, and 3. Now, these 3 different establishments right here and these 2 establishments here create this structure. And the easiest thing that you can do when preparing for whatever Jasmy's going to do next is just gauge the break of the structure. There's a decent sized chance that Jasmy's price is going to start to break towards the downside of this support, and that's what I'm watching out for. But the cool part is that's how you can identify if it is preparing to move into some more macro pullback. If Jasmy's price does continue downwards and we do see its price lose this key level of support, there's a very strong likelihood that not only do we lose this support here, but we actually pull all the way back towards 2.5 cents. And from more of a percentage basis, that is a pullback of 17%. Now, again, we're in a macro bull market. There are many catalysts. There are good things happening right now, and I can't guarantee that we are going to see a fall down that low, but I do know based off of the realm of possibilities, that is very, very strong. There's a strong likelihood that that is a card that's on the table here. And so what I'm doing at this given point in preparation for this, more of a warning, is that I'm watching Jasmy closely. I'm personally not buying while we are in this ascending wedge, quite simply because the risk is too high that we do get the pullback to the downside. And if at any given point, Jasmy's price does lose this key point of support, what I'm going to be doing is just going ahead and actually starting to accumulate. Again, it doesn't change my thesis. I am still bullish on Jasmy. I still do think that Jasmy is going to easily hit 10 cents sometime within the next, obviously, 6 to 12 months. It just depends. But the path to get there can be a little bit weird, right? It can be a little bumpy. There can be road bumps. And this could be one of the ones that are on the way. And so even if its price does start to pull back, it's not going to waver my bullishness. It's not going to waver my bullish conviction, but it is going to start to, put me in a position where I need to think of the next moves. And the next move for me is doing some accumulating. So what I'm going to do in the way that I'm going about this is that if Jasmy's price does lose this key point of support, I am going to start doing some accumulating. My first major point of support and accumulation would be 2.5 cents. Psychologically, strong level. Support, strong level. Liquidity basis, strong level. And it's a macro retest on this previous little inverse head and shoulders or cup and handle, whatever you want to call it, back there. And so knowing that obviously there seems to be a strong likelihood, I would say, that we do see some type of bounce off that level if we get to it. And so that's what I'm preparing for. So the primary focus here and just what I want you to be aware of is that, look, statistically, there is a pretty high chance that Jasmy's price does start to pull towards the downside of this ascending wedge in which it's in. Under the circumstance in which that does happen, I do expect that Jasmy's price could come back down toward 2.5 cents, at which point I would be looking to doing some accumulating because not only is it a good fundamental basis, psychological basis, technical and liquidity-based basis, but also for more of a Bollinger Band basis as well. That does give us 2 standard deviations off of our moving averages, putting it in that overextension zone, which typically we would see a bounce out of. And so because of all of those things and all those things combined, I think that Jasmy at the 2.5 cent level is a possibility, and I think it is something that could very easily be on the way. And so I am preparing some buy orders if we do hit that zone. Now, as I mentioned before, it may not happen. We may continue upwards, and if we continue upwards, well, obviously I'll keep you up to date. But it doesn't seem to be what is the most highly likely thing to happen right now. And so, of course, I'm preparing for the worst and accepting the best if it does come, because the best case scenario is that it does continue and our positions continue to grow. So, of course, guys, I will continue to update you as this does play out. I like to give you these 3, 4, 5-minute updates here and there on Jasmy, Render, Solana, Bitcoin, Ethereum, whale activity, and much more. So if you do enjoy them, you can always let me know by smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel if you are new. And I can't wait to see you all next time. Peace out, everybody.